Kaboom number 7. Little Rocket Man might be readying for yet another nuclear boom boom while his arch-rival Tangerine Man is saying yo what's up in Asia. South Korean intelligence told the country's lawmakers last Thursday that North Korea is making preparations for another missile test. Seoul points to increased vehicular movement around a missile research base in Pyongyang as evidence of this. North Korea last carried out a test in September of this year at its underground facility in Punggye-ri. That reportedly resulted in an earthquake and several aftershocks. Last week, Japanese media outlet TV Asahi reported this created a tunnel collapse and the deaths of 200 people. However, Pyongyang called this report fake news. And that's coming from the same guys who reportedly say this guy could drive a stick when he was a toddler. The Rotund Rocket Man.
Everything you need to know about North Korea's latest nuclear test. North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un took a break from not pooping at the weekend to make some boom boom. Big boom boom. On Sunday, September 3rd, North Korea conducted its 6th and most powerful nuclear test at the underground Punggye-ri nuclear test facility. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the underground explosion resulted in a 6.3 magnitude earthquake. Estimates put its explosive yield at 120 kilotons. For comparison, the little boy bomb dropped on Hiroshima in 1945 had a yield of 15 kilotons. The recent North Korean test was 8 times stronger than that. But it's just over a third of the power of the recently tested U.S. remote-controlled nuclear bomb, the B-61-12. That holds a maximum yield of 340 kilotons. Meet the Castle Bravo. This had an explosive yield of 15,000 kilotons when it was tested in 1954. It's the most powerful American bomb to ever be tested, but it's not the strongest. This is the Tsar Bomba. This Soviet super nuke was tested in 1961 and had a blast yield of 50,000 kilotons. That's 400 times stronger than North Korea's latest test. But don't think that makes the North any less dangerous, because turning a test bomb into a deliverable nuclear payload is quite the challenge, and it looks like the North might already be there. There is speculation this weekend's test bomb will form the warhead component of the Hwasong-14, North Korea's intercontinental ballistic missile. This ICBM can reportedly hit Alaska. Over the weekend, the United States threatened a massive military response against the use of such a weapon against the U.S. or its allies. Interestingly, President Trump is considering stopping trade with any country that does business with North Korea, aka China, because without the People's Republic's support, the North Korean regime would collapse. How would the U.S. military fight North Korea? As tensions continue to mount on the Korean peninsula with no side backing down, the U.S. has threatened a massive military response to any potential North Korean nuclear attack. But what would that look like? The U.S. would likely deploy large groups of its Navy and Air Force to Japan, Okinawa, and Guam to bolster military presence there. A Stratfor analyst told Business Insider that they'd also possibly maneuver submarines and ships closer to the north and target nuclear facilities through airstrikes. Helicopter-deployed buoys would listen for North Korean submarines, which could then be destroyed by more advanced American underwater craft. Experts reckon the U.S. would not invade, but rather defend South Korea as the North Korean army charges the border. This scenario would also see U.S. Special Forces parachuting into strategic locations around Pyongyang for surgical strikes. If, in the extremely unlikely scenario, North Korea strikes Guam or another U.S. territory or ally with a nuclear strike, the U.S. has the option to respond via land, sea, or air. Most agree that the resulting American retaliation would lay waste to Pyongyang and kill thousands, if not millions. Or, you know, Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump could just simply step into the octagon and see what happens. Russia flies nuclear bombers near North Korea. Moscow has decided to flex its muscle in a rare show of force by flying nuclear bombers around the Korean peninsula. The move comes amid escalating tensions between the U.S. and North Korea over Pyongyang's nuclear program. Russia said nuclear-capable Tupolev 95 MS bombers were flown over the Pacific Ocean, the Sea of Japan, the Yellow Sea, and the East China Sea. This prompted Japan and South Korea to scramble fighters to escort the Russian aircraft. The two Tupolev 95 bombers were also accompanied by two Russian Sukhoi 35S fighters and an A-50 early warning and control aircraft. Moscow did not say when the mission took place, but announced the flight on the same day it criticized U.S. and South Korean joint military drills, which began on Monday. Japan, U.S., and South Korea show Kim who's boss. Morbidly obese North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un may have lost some weight down the toilet recently. Why? 4 American F-35Bs and 2 B-1B bombers, along with 4 Korean F-15s and 4 Japanese F-2s, flew in sequential military drills this week. South Korean and American aircraft dropped live munitions at the Pilsong training range in South Korea. According to the U.S. Pacific Command, the exercises were conducted in response to North Korea's missile launch over Japan on September 14th. The Japanese and American aircraft flew over waters near the southwest coast of Japan. Kim's Russian and Chinese comrades also ran joint naval exercises near the Russia-DPRK border, and word is they weren't for his benefit. Frenemies much?